We're going to do all of the Switzerland achievements in this one run. Switzerland is set up really uniquely in HOI4. They basically have their own way of doing everything, and a lot of the mechanics that the other countries have are missing for Switzerland. So it's your first time playing them, it might seem quite confusing, but once you get your head around it, I think they're quite enjoyable. And they basically have unlimited PP, so you can get a lot of shit done. The thing that you might find annoying and maybe a bit overwhelming is the balance of power mechanics, which is activated when this decision pops up. And we're going to choose the bottom one, because we need our balance of power to be heading towards the left. But with that unlimited PP, it is easy to manage if you keep on top of it. And a few years in, you ain't really thinking about it anymore, because you're done with it. You're going to run out of build slots, so we'll start off by doing this land warfare facility and this infrastructure. You get infrastructure through the focus tree, so you'll get 100% in everything if you build that. And we'll also get a spy agency and upgrade it, so we've got 2 spies. For the first election, all those advisors are exactly the same, so get rid of any of them and hire HOI4. Because then in the second election, you get rid of him, and a decision will come up in the Federal Council tab that you press immediately, and it'll give you an extra research slot after 90 days. And by get rid of, I mean elect to be the council president. And you replace him with Sally Meyer, who gives plus 50% PP, so you never have to think about PP again. And then in the third election, get rid of one of those 2 original councillors and replace them with a fascist. Then in the fourth election, get rid of the other original guy and replace them with a different fascist. You do have to keep a little buffer of PP around though, because if you end up not being able to afford to hire a new councillor, you get this familiar looking fella who really fucks you over. You don't really have to think about it now, because the cost of the councillors get more expensive as you get further to the left in the balance of power, to a max of 150. So as long as you've always got 150, you can never get stung by him. And you see on the focus tree, there is only one path you can initially go down, with the first choice being whose border you want to fortify. We'll choose the French one because you have to do that to unlock the fascist side of the focus tree. As a democracy, Japan won't accept an attaché from us, and if we send one to China, it'll fuck over our base stability because we don't have those decisions that can improve it like other nations can. When you get this decision about the trial of David Frankfurt, select the bottom one, because Hitler will be happy with you and it'll increase fascism in Switzerland by 10%. After you do the armed neutrality focus, you see this decision pops up. We aren't going to do anything with militias, so just focus on the 2 that give increased construction speed and production buffs. When you have enough military preparedness, just select them. You can get the first one done to get the land warfare facility done quickly. And like I said, with that unlimited PP, you can choose these options to get more preparedness, and you get more through the focus tree. And it's a resource there that you may as well spend, so use it. After you've chosen a border to fortify, you'll see this pops up in decisions. If a country's relations get bad enough with you, they will get a war goal on you. You do get time to sort it out though. And as I said, it's based on relations. So initially, just manually improve your relations with that country. Though the further you go down in the focus tree, the more reasons you'll give them to hate you, so you might have to use the decisions below that. But they cost PP, and you've got tons of it. But just keep an eye on it, because they'll use that war goal against you, the bastards. Then you have to choose whether you want to promote Henri Guizon or the Frontier Defence Plan. I think it's a no-brainer. We're going with Guizon. There's 7 mills and 7 civs down there. And apart from a bit of manpower, the other side's pretty wank. And as soon as you've promoted him, remember to hire him as a chief of army. He's a good one, and the only one you can get. And then when you get up to 35 army XP, in the spirit of the army, get the relief of command for an extra 25% XP. But before we do the focuses underneath the Guizon path, we're going to do all army training and the stuff below there. That requires the balance of power to be on the right, whereas the Guizon path only requires it to be right of centre. And because we selected that option earlier to have it ticking left, we'll do the one that requires it to be to the right first. You need to have the truck research to unlock the veteran sharpshooter division focus to be able to do the ones below it. So research the truck early. It doesn't have to be from day one. It'd be 490 days from the start of the game is the earliest you could get to that focus anyway. We'll do these focuses. I ain't bothered about those 2 that I've not done. Those focuses will give us 5 civs, 7 mils and 20% recruitable population factor. To do all those focuses, you need to have full cantonal control in the balance of power, which you'll manage by clicking Rally Cantonal Defence in the balance of power. That shifts the balance of power 15% to the right after 30 days, so when you get to high 80s, just click that. But when you get far enough down the all adults training path, so that you can complete those focuses without the balance of power going below 75% so that the focus pauses, stop pressing it, because like I said, there's no need for it to be that high to be doing the Guizon path, and you need it to the left to be doing the fascist path, so you don't want it up that high. It'll be 1941 before we ever think about going to war, which is why I'm not building any mills at the start, and also the focus tree gives us loads anyway. Manpower is a constraint on Switzerland, so there's no point having a shit ton of wank equipment. You're better off having higher quality stuff. And like I said, you do get tons of PP, so remember to be spending it. And the Guizon path, like I said, it only requires the balance of power to be right of centre. So we're not clicking anything. So we will naturally get low enough to start doing the fascist focuses. However, further down in the fascist focus tree, you will need the balance of power to be further left. So you want to be clicking these two to send it that way. Then we're going to head down to axis goal because there's some really powerful buffs down there. And with all that PP, you can buy a load of planes from Germany. Just keep clicking it every time it pops up. But remember to have that buffer just in case. And now that you're going down the fascist focus tree, just keep looking ahead so you can see where your balance of power needs to be, so that you can proactively get it there. If you do mess up and you've got a few days to kill, there are these fascist focuses that you don't really need to do. Or there's this continuous focus to give you more military preparedness. When you do the petition of 200 focus, obviously choose the middle option. The top and bottom ones kill fascism, and we're going fascist, so obviously. And the same for this decision. Sorry if you think I'm talking to you like a retard, but at the end of the day, you do play HOI4. Once Vichy exists, put your 2 spies on there to build up a network. You can't actually do a collab until you flip fascist, so just get it to 50% then put it on quiet mode. And we do need to get a collab done on Vichy, because that means you only have to take their holdings in France rather than anything in North Africa to cap them later on. And once you get down here, go left with Tobler, because we don't want to become a puppet of Germany. But once you've done that abandon neutrality focus above that decision, you will get democratic unrest, which gives you a lot of ticking democracy support. And you need over 70 and then over 75% fascist support to do these 2 focuses below it. That propagandized Swiss military traditions gives you plus 8% fascist support, so you should be fine. But if not, you can always go back and do this focus, which knocks 10% off democratic support. And if you've still not got enough, you're gonna have to start again because you've really fucked up somewhere. This is the focus that flips us fascist, so do the collab then. And make sure you've done this focus to join the Axis before you declare war on Vichy, because Vichy is guaranteed by Germany. But before we think about going to war, we need to sort out an army first. And that's where things become a bit of a ball ache. We've got all this manpower from the Swiss militia, but when we do the focus that means we can design our own divisions, we're going to get knocked back to extensive conscription, which means we're going to go from 20% recruitable to 5%. And we need to go to war with Vichy soon, because the Allies are going to declare them and they're going to join the Axis, and that means we won't be able to. So we can't be titting about too much. So we're going to save that manpower. So as soon as you do this focus to design your own divisions, design a 2-width and design a full division. Then shit out as many 2-widths as you can and convert them to the full one. Then your manpower will go into your divisions rather than demobilising back into civilian life. But as I said, we need to hurry up and attack Vichy, and you don't want to be attacking with them 2 divisions. So you want to design the division you actually want to use. I'm going to use this. And then you want to delete from your full divisions the amount of manpower you need to fill up those proper divisions. You will lose some guys in doing it, but time is of the essence. Once that manpower ticks down to 10%, I'd probably just go service by requirement, because we're not starved of equipment, and just waiting on that ticking down, it's just more messing about. So us being in the Axis negates that guarantee on Vichy. It does mean that they'll guard the German and Italian borders though, so we're going to absolutely batter them. Though truth be told, we would have done anyway. I've gone grand battle plan, so I'll get my divisions lined up there to get the planning, and I'll remember to put all those planes that I bought from Germany over France, and stick the 2 spies there to kill their entrenchment. It is not necessary, but every little helps. And then we've got the peace deal, and we're going to be really kind of stupid with it. We're going to get the Swiss cheese achievement done by taking 5 states that ain't touching one another and puppet the rest. So that's one of the 4 achievements done. But now our Vichy puppet is going to get justified on by the US and the UK. So we're going to land lease them all of our spare equipment and then annex them, which gives us that equipment back anyway, before the Allies get the war goal. And also we'll do the you get a canton, everyone gets a canton achievement by having more than 24 states. So that's 2 of the 4 done. So now we just need to declare war on Germany and win a war without losing any of our starting core states. But before we do that, we're going to do the Alpine supremacy focus so that we core some of those territories that we took in France. That means we're going to get a load more core manpower, and manpower still has not ticked down low enough that the people are immediately demobilising. So again, we're going to shit out a load of 2-widths, convert them to the full ones, bang out as many mountaineers as we can, delete the full ones so the manpower goes into them. And we end up just shy of 4 full armies. And the Germans doing really not very well right now. The Allies have landed in the Netherlands and Belgium and northern France, and Italy's capitulated, and the Soviets are retaking Eastern Europe. So we better get a wriggle on. With a world tension that high and being fascist, it wouldn't take long to justify anyway. But we have a core on Vorarlberg, so it'll only gonna be 15 days. So we're gonna leave the Axis, justify on that, and go in on them. So this has all the hallmarks of being a right piece of piss. I actually really like Switzerland. And not just because Toblerone is a bad boy chocolate. Once you get your head around all the faffing about, I think they're pretty fun. And I do like how different they are from all the other nations. And being that I declared war on Germany, the Allies invite me, I think, yeah, I'll go in for that. None of you are going to be surprised what Churchill does in a minute, the bloody rat. He kicks me out, but it's too late for Germany anyway. The writing's already on the wall. Fascism has failed, apart from in Switzerland and Spain. And the East, I might be at war with Japan, but I'm not going to bother doing any of that nonsense. Well, look here. I don't see any allies or Comintern troops there. That's Swiss boyos taking Berlin. So that's those two missing achievements done. And fuck the peace deal, I don't need any more territory. Game over.